Bill Maher was born on January 20th, 1956 in New York City. His father, William Maher Sr., was a radio news editor and a Catholic. His mother, Julie Berman, was a nurse and Jewish. Bill was raised in Rivervale, New Jersey, in a religious household, until it wasn't. As a child, he attended Catholic services, not knowing until his teenage years that his mother was Jewish. That early realization that people could wear masks, even in families, would leave a mark. Maher attended Pascack Hills High School, graduating in 1974. He wasn't the class clown. He was sharper than that. Clever, observant, with a dry wit and a growing skepticism of authority. He went on to Cornell University, majoring in English and history. There, he developed a love for literature, politics, and irreverent humor. He also supported himself by selling marijuana, something he's admitted and even credited for funding his stand-up dreams. After graduating in 1978, Maher pursued stand-up comedy. He started performing at small clubs across New York City. His style was never slapstick or physical. It was intellectual, biting, and loaded with sarcasm. In the early 1980s, he gained national exposure on The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson, and Late Night with David Letterman. He became a regular guest, known for his sharp takes on current events, pop culture, and hypocrisy. Unlike many comics of his generation, Maher didn't shy away from politics. Instead, he embraced it. And as he honed his voice, a pattern emerged. He wasn't loyal to any one ideology. He was loyal to calling bullshit. In 1993, Maher got his own show on Comedy Central, Politically Incorrect. The concept was bold. A panel show featuring politicians, celebrities, authors, and pundits, talking candidly about current events, religion, race, and sex. The show was fast, funny, and unpredictable. Maher moderated with humor and heat, often steering conversations into taboo territory. In 1997, Politically Incorrect moved to ABC. It reached a wider audience, earned Emmy nominations, and built Maher's reputation as a provocateur who thrived on discomfort. But in 2001, everything changed. Just days after 9/11, Maher pushed back on the term cowards used to describe the hijackers. He said, "We have been the cowards, lobbing cruise missiles from 2,000 miles away." The backlash was immediate. Advertisers fled, politicians condemned him, and ABC canceled the show in 2002. Maher lost his platform, but not his voice. In 2003, Maher launched Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO. This time, there were no network censors, no commercial breaks, and no limits. The show featured a mix of monologue, interviews, and a panel discussion, similar to Politically Incorrect, but edgier, looser, and even more politically charged. Maher grilled politicians, mocked media spin, and roasted religious dogma. His guests ranged from actors to senators, right-wing firebrands to far-left thinkers. If they had ideas, he'd challenge them. He called out Democrats for their identity, politics, mocked conservatives for science denial, and took pride in being hated by both extremes. Over the next 2 decades, Real Time became a staple of political discourse. It was a place where ideas clashed, where speech was free, and where no one got off easy. Though widely identified as liberal, Maher often rejected the label in its modern form. He supported universal health care, marijuana legalization, and environmental policy. But he's also blasted liberal cancel culture, academic censorship, and what he calls the woke religion. He mocked progressive speech codes, challenged trans orthodoxy, and warned that the left's obsession with purity was losing them voters. He famously said, "I haven't changed, the left has." He also challenged COVID lockdown policies, praised Florida's pandemic response under DeSantis, and warned liberals that ignoring red state realities would lead to political ruin. His politics resist categorization. He's a free speech absolutist, a social liberal, a cultural contrarian. And he's fine with being unpopular, so long as he believes he's right. Religion has always been Maher's favorite target. In 2008, he released Religulous, a documentary that skewered organized religion across the globe. The film was a box office success and a lightning rod for criticism. He called religion a neurological disorder and described God as an imaginary friend. To Maher, belief without evidence wasn't just wrong, it was dangerous. He tied faith to war, bigotry, and anti-science thinking. He was particularly critical of Islam, but also of Judaism, Christianity, and every other theistic tradition. In addition to his religious criticism, Maher became a champion of marijuana legalization. He's on the advisory board of NORML, has smoked openly on his podcast, and pushed for ending the war on drugs long before it became fashionable. He also serves on the board of PETA and is outspoken on animal rights, though he said he'd never go full vegan because, quote, cheese exists. His values are iconoclastic, but consistent. He believes in free expression, bodily autonomy, and skepticism of all institutions. Maher never married. He's dated models, singers, professors, and public figures, but always on his terms. He once joked, "I'm the last person you'd want to marry, and the first person you'd want at a dinner party." He owns a home in Beverly Hills and another in Hawaii. He spends weekends watching football, smoking pot, and reading political news. He's described himself as an old-school liberal, a rationalist, and occasionally a grumpy boomer. But he remains proudly, defiantly single. Controversy has followed Maher his entire career. In 2017, he used a racial slur on air during a joke with Senator Ben Sasse. Though he apologized, the moment ignited widespread backlash. Some called for his firing, others defended his intent. He's been accused of Islamophobia, sexism, elitism, and arrogance. And yet, HBO has never dropped him. He was one of the first celebrities to criticize COVID-era censorship on social media. He denounced Twitter bans, YouTube removals, and vaccine mandates, not because he was anti-vaccine, but because he was anti-orthodoxy. In 2022, he launched Club Random, a podcast where he interviews guests in his home while drinking, smoking, and going fully off script. By 2024, Maher announced he was retiring from stand-up, calling it like cutting off a limb. But he kept his podcast. He kept real time. And in 2025, he made